first 13 days inside a glass box. No name, no skin to skin, just a small body and the hum of machines. My story begins with a 17-year-old girl who became pregnant, and her family disowned her, not because she was pregnant, but because she was pregnant with a black man's baby. So she carried me to term alone and placed me up for adoption. On the 22nd of December, I was born. But because of the Christmas shutdown, my adoptive parents couldn't finalise the legal paperwork to get me. So there I was, 13 days, in a glass crib. You don't need memory for a wound to become a map. And that glass crib became my glass ceiling. And from that silence came the question that shaped everything that followed. Who do I belong to? And what do I have to do to be wanted? I didn't know it then, but that question would echo in every room, every friendship, every silence. And like most children, I didn't ask it. I answered it by becoming whatever I thought anyone wanted. I was adopted into a conservative white New Zealand family. The only one adopted, the only one black. And at school, my siblings would joke and say they were the real kids. It was funny until it wasn't. Because childhood jokes cut deepest when they echo a truth you already feel. At 5 years old, my adoptive dad, the school principal, wanted to record me singing Jesus Loves Me. They wanted my voice to be angelic and pure. But every time I opened my mouth, Ella Fitzgerald walked in. Jesus loves me. That's when I first learned that my voice could be too much for the space that I was in. Sometime later, my parents caught me outside, lying in the backyard with the palms of my feet and the palms of my hand up. And they're like, "What are you doing? That's a weird way to lie." And I said to them, "I'm sunbaking my hands and palms and feet so that they can be like the rest of me." They laughed, but I wasn't joking. Even then, I was trying to colour match my belonging. By 12, the world didn't reflect me back, so I built imaginary ones that did. I wasn't pretending. I was practicing how to survive in a story that didn't seem to have space enough for me. By adolescence, I'd learned to swap faces like costumes. Like in one group, I would be the tough one, and then another I'd be the good one. And it just kept on going on like that, all through my childhood. But childhood doesn't stay fun and soft forever. Eventually it sharpens. And when it does, the ache to belong starts to sting. I thought heartbreak would come later, romantic love, adult pain. But my first real heartbreak came at 13. Not from a boy, but from a best friend. We're about to move from New Zealand to Australia, and I went there to her house to say my final goodbyes, and instead of giving me a hug, she unleashed, "You're loud, you're suffocating. I only stayed friends of you because out of pity." The saddest part was I believed every single word. When people who matter to you confirm your most deepest fears, it doesn't feel like a rejection, it feels like a confirmation. Like they've finally seen what you've been hiding all this time. I carried those words across every new friendship, just waiting for the next rejection. And like I said, by then I was just a master chameleon, a different version of me for every room. But underneath the juggling act, there was no single place where the whole of me fit. I wasn't deceiving anyone. I was just trying to belong everywhere, which just meant I never really belonged anywhere. Around that time, I started asking about my birth mum. My adoptive dad secretly made inquiries at her old church, and miraculously, he found her. And she'd been looking for me too. So then at 13, stepping off a plane in Hobart, Tasmania, I met my birth mum. For the first time, I belonged to someone who looked like me, spoke like me, moved like me. But even then, belonging wasn't simple. I was still rejecting my African heritage, still trying to blend. I remember my parents driving hours to see the African Children's Choir. Like, they thought I would just love it. But everyone else was smiling and dancing and clapping, and I just sat there squirming, desperate to disappear into whiteness. Because in my world, being black meant being different, and being different meant being alone. I didn't know it yet, but another mirror was waiting for me. Trying to get through, hang on. At 16, a visiting speaker from Zambia stayed with our family, and something inside me finally stirred, a quiet remembering of the routes that I'd thought I'd run. So I did the most dramatic thing a teenager could do. I decided to become a missionary in Zambia. When I stepped off the plane, I froze. Not because it was unfamiliar, but because I suddenly realized how white I was. True. For years I'd felt too black in white spaces, and now I felt too white in black ones. Within a week, I called my dad, begging him to bring me home. But he said, stay one more week, and if you still want to come home, I'll bring you. That week changed everything. The rhythm, the laughter, something in me just exhaled. And the joy that spilled through all the rooms that had barely anything in them, but somehow they had everything. For once, I wasn't the loudest person in the room. And for all those who know me, know that that's saying something. I started to see that the parts of me that I were told was too much, the loudness, the laughter, the passion, those weren't flaws. Those were fingerprints of my lineage. For 9 months, I lived and worked in the slums of Kalingalinga, and for the first time, I felt something close to belonging. Not because I fit in, but because I stopped shrinking. That was until one day, walking down a dusty Zambian street, men began calling out to me in Bemba, their native language. At first I smiled, thinking, oh, they're saying hello, hello. And then I asked my friends what those words meant. Yeah, they kind of shifted awkwardly in their eyes, and I thought, oh, something's up. They eventually told me. The men were asking how much I cost. In that moment, I once more felt the sting of what it means to be between two worlds. Because in places where girls like me don't fit in either side, black or white, many are pushed to the margins, and some survive the only way society is left for them. Too black for white spaces, too white for black ones. In my early teens and adult years, I was always searching for connection, always chasing the feeling of being chosen. I wanted to belong to someone so badly. that I mistook attention for affection, desire for devotion, longing for love, and relationship for rescue. One day, a close friend of me looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Becky, you open your legs for a hug." And it stopped me cold, because she was right. I'd been offering my body when all I really wanted was acceptance. But then I met him. He was charming, magnetic, full of promise. I stayed 7 years in a love built on waiting. I walked down the aisle in tears. Everyone thought, "Oh, isn't that so lovely? She's so happy." But I knew differently. Someone had chosen me. But when you see you've been starving for belonging, even the crumbs can look like a feast. So I said yes, even though I knew it was not good. 2 years later, I moved to New Zealand with 2 toddlers, a few household items, and a broken version of myself. Not long after I arrived, my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He fought bravely for 6 years before he died. This was the man who not only found and introduced me to my birth mum, but through sheer Scottish stubbornness, he actually found my birth dad in Zimbabwe as well. At Dad's funeral, my siblings came from far and wide to honour his legacy. And while they were there, they posted a photo captioned, "The whole family together again." But I wasn't in it. Maybe they didn't mean it that way, but it echoed the oldest story that I knew. I was never really one of them. Over and over, I'd bent myself into whatever shape was needed to belong. Wife, daughter, peacemaker, performer. But no matter how many shapes I took, I never really felt like I fit. I was always the extra piece in someone else's puzzle. When I became a mother, I believe the search was finally over. Finally, I belonged to someone. Flesh in my flesh, love without conditions. For years I hustled. I built a career, raised 2 kids on my own, wrote a book, ticked all the boxes. I told myself I was doing okay and I was doing it all for them, until one day my adult children said something that broke me. "Mum, from 9 to 7 you were working, and from 7 till bedtime you were drunk. We never felt like we belonged." In that moment, I heard it not just as their pain, but as an echo from the crib. That baby girl I'd once been, lying in glass, untouched, unnamed, waiting to be held. I had grown into a mother, still trying to prove that she'd mattered. And I'd spent my whole life outrunning that wound only to pass it down. In my search to be enough, I'd made my children feel like they weren't. I wanted to hold their faces and say, "You belong to me, you always did. And I'm so sorry that I made you question that." But the truth was, I hadn't been saying those words to myself. And what we don't offer ourselves, we can't offer the ones we love. That night, guilt in one hand, glass of wine in the other, I realised I'd spent my whole life trying to belong to everybody else, but never to me. Then came the whispers. Not loud, not dramatic, just honest. Soft truths rising from somewhere deeper than thought. I wrote them down, not to publish, but to survive. Lifelines disguised as language. In time, they became a book called It Starts With a Word. a way to rewrite the scripts that I had lived by, to end the inheritance of pain, and to speak the kind of words to myself that would bring me home. If I could go back to that neonatal unit, to that baby girl in a crib, 13 days old, untouched, unnamed, listening to machines, I wouldn't change her story. I'd change what she heard about it. I'd lift her from that glass box and I'd whisper, "You were never waiting to be chosen. You were waiting to remember that you already belong." Because belonging isn't something we earn. It's something we reclaim. The moment we stop performing for love and start showing up for ourselves as love, that's when healing begins. For years I thought belonging was something others could offer me. But now I know it's the peace that arrives when I stop abandoning myself just to be accepted by someone else. My life has been shaped by mirrors. The crib, the classroom, the streets of Zambia, the photo without my face. Each one reflected a piece of me I was still learning how to hold. Some mirrors softened me, some shattered me. But all of them, every single one, led me home. I've learned that when a reflection stings, it's not telling you you're unworthy. It's life telling you, this is where you rise. Every sting is a summons. Every bruise is a boundary being born. Every shattering is a shape you no longer need. So do this with me now, please. Place your hand on your heart. This pulse never once left you. It never lied to you. It never rejected you. It never asked you to be less. This is the sound of your belonging. So say it with me, not as a performing, but as a remembering. Please say it with me. I belong.
I belong
to myself.
to myself
Fully.
fully,
Finally. Unapologetically. Because once you choose yourself, the world doesn't get a vote anymore. Your past doesn't get a vote anymore. The mirrors don't get a vote anymore. Only you do. And when you walk into your life from that place, you're not seeking acceptance. You're arriving home.